It's Wednesday, the 5th of February 2025. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 big stories once again to get through in just 5 minutes, so let's get cracking. Story number 1, Donald Trump diplomacy continues to rile financial markets with the Aussie dollar bouncing yesterday and the local share market rebounding before falling away again at the end of the day.
Hard to keep an eye. Hard to know exactly what's going on at the moment because things change by the hour. What we do know, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau both negotiated the postponement of the 25% tariff on imports from both nations, which the US had scheduled for yesterday. We also know that tariffs on China came into effect overnight. Now, China has already said it's going to impose retaliatory tariffs against the US. They will hit things like large engine cars, pickup trucks, coal, LNG, oil, agricultural machinery. We also heard the US president talking about accessing Ukrainian rare earths in exchange for military support in the war against Russia. He signed an executive order to create a sovereign wealth fund, which might be able to buy TikTok. You also have countries now jumping or sort of offering stuff to Trump to prevent tariffs. So India's Narendra Modi has cut duties on imports from textiles and motorcycles and pledged to accept thousands of unlawful migrants from the US and will maintain the US dollar as its trading currency. Amazing.
So what happened to financial markets then as a result of that somewhat turbulent 24 hours?
Oil prices dropped sharply yesterday after the postponement of tariffs in Canada. Copper prices, a bellwether for the global outlook, jumped. Gold's trading near record highs. Good place to go in uncertain times. Aussie dollar is back under 62 US cents. Bad news for anyone traveling abroad. Crypto's bounced after big tumbles. Bitcoin's back above 100,000 US dollars a unit. The Aussie market rallied really sharply in the first half hour yesterday, but actually finished lower. A lot of confusion out there, a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, certainly is. Okay, moving on to story number 2 now, Sean. Federal Parliament was back in session and there was some agreement, plenty of disagreement on day one of the new year.
Everyone started at church. A nice start. Afterwards, there was agreement over the vile nature of anti-Semitism in Australia. Then there was disagreement over the government's handling of what's going on. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese naturally defended his handling of it, citing the creation of new offences and more funding for Holocaust education. Opposition leader Peter Dutton said the Jewish community was paying the price for the lack of a strong stance against the anti-Israel protests since October 2023. Based on question time yesterday, outside anti-Semitism, cost of living seems to be the big issue as we run in towards the election.
All right, story number 3. How about this? Westpac will offer business customers a year's worth of basic legal services as it looks to boost its small business portfolio.
That market, the small business market, is fiercely competitive. National Australia Bank is a leader. It's got about 21% market share, then Commonwealth Bank about 19%. Westpac's at about 16%, but it's done really well making ground. About 30% of its earnings are now from business banking. Westpac spent $10 million investing in legal services provider LawPath. Basically, that investment will allow its new customers, for 12 months to access archives of legal documents and get some help around business registrations. A creative way to attract customers.
Yeah, certainly is. Story number 3. Yes, certainly is. Now, story number 4, sales of Tesla electric vehicles in Australia fell 33% last month, according to the Electric Vehicle Council.
The EVC said 739 Tesla models were sold in January compared to more than 1,100 in January last year. Polestar EVs also had a sales slide, falling 45% to just 82 vehicles. However, over the full year, EV sales exceeded 100,000 for the first time. Well, that's an estimate, but I'm pretty sure they exceeded 100,000 for the first time, about 9.5% market share. If you live in the ACT, you're most likely to buy an EV, and the Tesla Model Y was the biggest seller. Helping a lot is the fact that there are now over 1,000 fast charging sites nationwide. However, the industry goal of reaching 50% of all sales being EVs by 2030 looks a little too challenging.
Last one, story number 5. Apple has criticised a pornography app newly available on iPhones in the European Union, saying the bloc's digital policy was undermining consumer confidence in Apple.
Since it first opened the App Store on iPhones in 2008, Apple has controlled what apps could be downloaded to the devices. Then CEO Steve Jobs said that keeping porn off the iPhone was Apple's moral responsibility and one of the company's major motivations for acting as a gatekeeper, according to Reuters. Now, in the EU, Apple's gatekeeper status changed in 2022. Something called the Digital Markets Act came into play. It required Apple to allow alternative app stores. One of those stores, called Alt Store, has begun distributing a porn app called Hot Tub. In a statement, Apple said it's deeply concerned about the safety risks that hardcore porn apps of this type create for EU users, especially kids. Just shows there's two sides to all these stories.
Indeed, there is. All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Wednesday, the 5th of February, 2025. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. And today is Wednesday, which means there is a new edition of the Fear and Greed weekly newsletter coming out today. It is entirely free. Head along to fearandgreed.com.au, pop your email address in, and you will receive the newsletter in a matter of hours. Sean, I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.